Hey, everybody, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Okay, good deal. Good deal. All right, sorry about that. Guess it just works when it wants to work, right? That's how we roll. All right, all right. Let me go ahead and start up top real quick. Make sure I read everybody else out here. All right, Norma, good morning, DD. If you get an echo, let me know. Angel Eyes, what's new in the case? Did the husband do it? Yeah, that's going to come in time, no doubt about it. I don't know if he did or not. Hello from sunny Florida. AJ, good morning, DD. Good morning. April, good morning. Welcome in, everybody. AJ 1985, L, AJ, Angelites, and Norma. Good morning. Raw. The faithful servants in the house. Good morning, faithful servant. AJ, Tammy Dog Lover. Awesome. L, good morning. Welcome in. DD is having some technicals. I think we got them fixed. Thank God. April, good morning, friends. Welcome in, everybody. Good to have you all. Still no sound. Okay, buffering. Let's see where we're at. We're just going to go to the. I'm going to start from the bottom, guys. All right, all right. Good morning, DD. Says Carolina girl, Melissa. Yes, okay, good to go. Bridget, Norma, April. All right, here we go, everybody. You're good. You're good. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. As far as the caps, no worries. Carolina and Bridget, faithful servant. Hello, hello. All right, everybody's read. Okay. First, let me start off by saying, I don't know if you guys heard, but there was a something that happened that came out this morning. Uh, Apparently, like 90 miles south of Columbus, Ohio. I don't know if you guys heard, but there was 16 kids. They went and served a warrant. They didn't specify what the warrant was. It was a Vinton County in Ohio, and they went ahead and apparently they took 16 kids out of that home, ages from 1.5 to 18 years old. Uh, some are in really bad shape, condition wise, critical condition as far as health wise. Like I'm guessing not eating. Um, from 1.5 to 18 years old, all 16 was taken to the hospital, and there was a few of them that were really in bad shape. So, and bad in health wise, hungry. I'm guessing. I'm just guessing. They didn't specify other than to say they look like, you know, malnourished kids. There were 16 of them. So that happened here this morning. I just saw the news. Vinton County, Ohio. That's 90 miles, literally 90 miles south of Columbus. When I get more information, I will let you all know. I'll definitely be following that. So, being that it's right back in our neck of the woods, they didn't say what the search warrant was for. They didn't say why they went there for. What they were searching for. Now they did say that the people that live there weren't from Vinton County, Ohio. So God only knows if they were from another state. We don't know if they were not just from another state, but if they were maybe even kids that didn't belong to the people that were there. In other words, maybe, you don't know, right? Don't want to speculate anything on maybe they were kids that were abducted or anything. Don't know that. I'm just saying 16 kids. Uh, and the people who lived there, were not from Benton County. So they weren't from Benton County, Ohio. So I wanted to go ahead and just, yeah, no doubt, April. Yeah. A lot of trafficking out here happens. There's a lot of trafficking that goes on, especially in like Northwest Ohio. There's a lot of trafficking because you have I-75, you have 475, you have State Route 6, you have so many literally that can take you from east to coast, from the west coast to the east coast. So it is very high in that. Uh, Once again, I'm not saying that's what it is because they didn't say, but they did say that several of those kids were in bad shape, and I'm thinking it's because of nutrients, not eating or anything like that. So just want to go ahead and let you all know we will be covering that here on the next at 5 o'clock p.m. if I can get some information. But they didn't really say a whole lot. They, like I said, they didn't even say anything about why they were searching the house. I'm sure somebody must have called in or something. So keep them in your prayers. 16 kids, ages 1.5 to 18 years old, all taken uh, to the hospital to get them checked out and make sure they're okay. But a lot of them were in bad shape. I'm assuming it's health wise. I think they said four, Bridget. I think they said there was four adults living there, but they were not from Vinton County, Ohio. They were not from that area. Don't know if they were squatters. Don't know if it was traffic. Don't know really a whole lot. Just what I just gave you. But I just want to go ahead and let you guys know if you guys prayers for them because that just came out this morning. Melissa, I think husband has something to do with the Alina's case. Yeah, I mean, it very well looked like that. But anyways, just letting you guys know that's where we're at on that. Okay. So now, without further ado, as they would say, let's get it. We will be. I'll be following that to see if they leak it, if they say any information out for the 5 o'clock hour, and if they don't, then we'll wait till we hear something. Okay. Just wanted to give you guys that info. All right, everybody. So today's topic, a little bit of information. Uh, Chris had passed me some videos to check out to see, more about what's going on with that Alina case. Alina from South Carolina and Brannon Slice. Moore, Alina Catherine Moore, and Brannon Slice. This there from South Carolina, from Lexington. And the idea was that we didn't have any information, so we were trying to gather information. Um, so that's what the topic's going to be about today. I know I told you guys maybe I'd go ahead and do the topic on the scientist, but I read this late last night, and I was like, oh God, like, so I wanted to cover this because it's something we're dealing with currently. So just giving you guys heads up. That's it. All right, everybody. April, hope not trafficking, without a doubt. Chico Sticks in the house. Good to have you, Chico Stick. Hey, Norma, Carolina girl. How terrible. Prayers for those involved. Well said, Carolina girl. Well said. Thank you for being here. Bridget, how many adults for Melissa? I think husband has something to do with this, says Melissa. You may be right. No, I mean, you may be right because it's just a lot of weird things. We're waiting for the toxicology report to come in so that we can go ahead and know a little bit more information. Uh, Tammy Dog Lover, I'm from Northwest Ohio. Awesome, Tammy Dog Lover. Good to have you. L, my heart is breaking for those children. Well said, L. Carol, how sad, without a doubt. Ocean, good. Texas morning, DD. Good to have you, Carol. Good to have you, Ocean Waves. Thank you so much. Appreciate you being here. Likewise, you too, Carol. Cat Go, good morning, all. Norma, prayers for those 16 kids, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Well said. Carol says, hello, Melissa. Bridget, we need to wait for more details. That is correct, Bridget. Like I said, this was came out first thing in the morning, and so that's where we're at. Ocean, Carol, L, please make sure you remember to click the like, everybody. Click the like. Get those algorithms going. Let's get those algorithms going. Hit the hearts. Share it. Share the stream. Let your friends know. Let other streamers know what this channel is all about. You guys are making this channel grow. It's you guys that are making it happen. So thank you. April, stay safe in the heat, everybody. 82 degrees here at 9 a.m. in Ohio, without a doubt. We're supposed to hit to 99 with an index of 108. That's supposed to be a new record for the state of Ohio. Ocean waves. No, sorry about that. Ocean waves. Norma. Carolina. AJ, thank you for that gift, AJ. Appreciate you, my friend. Stay safe. And yes, Carol. L, April, yes, here too. Not looking forward to the heat. It needs to go away before the weekend, right? They're already canceling a lot of 4th of July events. But anyway, yeah, I don't want to get sidetracked, but yeah, well said, L, no doubt. Ocean Waves, AJ, sent gold coins for 10 jewels. Thank you so much, AJ. L, stay hydrated, folks. Thank you, AJ. Says L. Teresa, good morning from London. Good to have you, Teresa. Slept in after all the food talking yesterday. I'm a bit lost. What's happening? Whose are we talking about? We are talking about literally, um, now you go brain dead. Brannon Slice, the husband of Alina Moore. We're talking about new information that, or I don't know if it's new information, but I know it's information I haven't passed forward. So we're going to talk about that. Um, and this is of the South Carolina, the Alina Moore that mysteriously went missing, and yeah. AJ, good morning, Teresa. Good morning, Teresa. April, I think the husband is involved for sure. It seems kind of shady, and when I give you some information, you're going to really think it's shady. So I think let's begin with that. Teresa, Norma, hello. It's going to be 99 degrees today in Dallas. It's going to be 99 degrees here in Ohio as well, ocean waves, with the index of 108. Okay, so the information, once again, Chris sent me some stuff to read, and which I did, and came up with some information that I thought you guys might find quite interesting. So, 13 years from when Alina just went deceased here recently. 13 years back. Gotta love East Texas weather, says Norma. Ready to learn. You got it out. So go back 13 years from when Alina was found. Okay. Alina was just found here recently. Brandon Slice, the husband, was stripped of his law enforcement certification. Remember, he worked at the Lexington County Sheriff's Department. He was stripped of his certification, okay? And it's important because the question is, why was he stripped of his certification? Now, I understand when you go to certify in the state of Ohio, you're going for a while and you're going to do quite a bit of training. So you earn that. But when they go and they strip you from it, make no mistake, there has to be something very, very serious that has occurred for that to happen. Now, there was an investigation from the Internal Affairs investigating him, reference MDNA, a pool party, and an unnamed girlfriend. Okay, so we have an MDNA, we have a pool party, and we have an unnamed girlfriend that were mentioned in this investigation. All right, that's what we have so far. I'll continue here in a second. Let me read these so I don't get behind. Good morning, Teresa. I think the husband was involved, says April. Hello, it's going to be 99 degrees. Ocean Norma, gotta love East Texas. Teresa, I will Google it. Is she the lady who owned a coffee shop? No, that was the mother of the lady from California in Carlsbad that worked at the coffee shop. Um, that was Joanna Ruth Shields. This one here is Elena Catherine Moore from South Carolina, Lexington to be exact. Ocean, Norma, Teresa. Oh, I've got that wrong, lady. Sorry, you're good, Teresa. So now, 13 years going back, you have literally an internal investigation done involving Brannon Slice, the husband of Alina Moore. Okay, they stripped his certification. He lost his certification. They stripped it. They didn't lose it. They stripped it from him. In other words, they took it. He's no longer law enforcement. It's probably why he got out of law enforcement because there was an internal investigation, AI investigation on him. So the Lexington County Sheriff's Department, LCSD, initiated the probe in 2013 against then narcotic detective. He was our narcotic detective, Brandon Slice. He married Moore in 2024. Okay, he married. So we were always asking like when they get married and this and that. He married Catherine Moore, Alina Catherine Moore in 2024. Okay, now he's not connected at this point with anything dealing with Alina, his then wife. He's not connected to any of her death by no way means, but this is just a pattern. You guys got to know what's going on. He was the one, obviously, that reported his wife on June 12th, 2026, after leaving Planet Fitness. Okay, so now let me see what you guys got to say. God love East Texas. Oh, I've got the latest. Sorry, London. Don't often hear American news. You got it. No problem, Teresa. Glad to have you here, says April. Okay. So now, at the same time, more, more. Now we always wondered, like, what was her thing, right? We knew she worked out. We knew she was a fitness trainer, a personal trainer. So apparently, she was a rising star or rising the ranks, for better lack of words, to be a pinup calendar and product model. So she was like literally, I guess she was involved in working out for quite a while, okay, because she was literally working to be a model for a pinup calendar. Okay, that was her thing. So it wasn't like she just started working out. Remember, I had said in the past maybe she was working out to, the husband was doing this and that, and she was trying to prove that she could look just as good and all this type of thing. Well, she was apparently working out already. She was already established, and she was climbing the ranks to be on a calendar as a model for products. Okay, just so that you guys know that. Has she been found? Sorry, I know nothing in the recent. Yeah, she was found, Teresa. She was found on a live on the 17th, of June. She was found. They found her like on the side of embankment under the bridge by the water, um, next to a bunch of trees. Can you guys still hear me? Okay. So Norma, Ocean Waves, you are about 2 hours away from me. Carol, hello, Chris. Chris is in the house, everybody. Chris McLaughlin, morning, all. DD, I sent you an email with a paragraph to read. Yeah, let me see here. Chris, I went on. I didn't go on StreamYard. I went on just regular YouTube. Can I still do that? Have you come in on that? Let me know. I don't know. I know how to do it from StreamYard. I just don't know how to do it from. I'm on StreamYard. I'm on literally uh, on regular YouTube. So I don't know how that works, to be honest. Let me know if you know. Okay, everybody. So this report of Brandon Sly's that he was stripped of his certification, it's important because it paints a pattern, a picture of something that obviously he was involved in or he was reported to be involved in that literally cost him his job. I mean, let's just be frank and honest. Good morning, Dee Dee, says Marianne. Marianne, good morning. Carol, hello. AJ, Marianne. Okay, thank you, April. I just adjusted it, that's why. GM, Marianne. All right, Chris. Yeah, I've got it on YouTube. Next time I'll go on StreamYard and do it from there, and then I'll be able to invite you in because I don't know how to do it from YouTube, to be honest. The investigative report obtained fitness news through the Freedom of Information Act. This information came from a Freedom of Information Act, okay, by Detective Brandon Slice. Okay, he married Moore in 2024. That's when they got married. He wasn't convicted of anything at this point with dealing with Alina. Now, we know that Alina Moore's Facebook, it tracks their relationship. Okay. It talks about on her Facebook, talks about their relationship and back all the way to March 13, 2013. Think about that. Back all the way. So in 2013 is when they were having a relationship. They got involved. Just in case you guys might want to know that. Yes, was she confused lady? Yes. Worked at the gym. That is correct, Teresa. Ocean Waves. Norma, where are you? I'm in Lake Highlands. No, okay. L topic. Who is Brandon Slice? Alina Moore case. Thank you so much, L. So I'm gonna tell you about a little bit about the husband now. Just 3 months into their relationship. Okay, so going back to 2013 when they started their relationship. Just 3 months into their relationship, Slice triggered an internal affairs investigation into its personal association with a known drug figures tied to a narcotics case that he had previously worked. Okay. So the reason they did an internal affairs on him is because he was tied to literally, he was involved basically or tied to a known drug figure to our narcotics case that he had previously worked. You got to remember, he's a narcotic detective. He works with basically drugs and people dealing drugs and etc. April, yes, Teresa, Norma, Ocean Wave, Teresa, oh, so young, so beautiful. I feel she was so punchy. April, please click the likes, everybody. Click the likes. So that's why they did an internal affairs investigation on Brandon Slice because he was involved or he was a part of somebody that was involved in the narcotics in a case that he had previously worked. Okay. And I can tell you right now, that's never a good thing. So let's just say that you're going out there and you are a detective and you worked a case dealing with someone who was dealing drugs, right? And then all of a sudden you are kind of like involved with red flags come up everywhere. And when you get an AI, when there's an internal investigation on you, make no mistake, that's some serious news for you because that's as big. I mean, that's as short of a conviction. That's as big as it gets from the get go. Okay, in law enforcement. So this is basically what happened. Slice and his girlfriend, whose name was redacted. I can't give you her name. I don't know if it was Alina at the time or if it was somebody else because they redacted the name but it says Slice and his girlfriend, whose name was redacted throughout the report, had attended a Memorial Weekend pool party. So he went to a pool party when he was off duty. Okay. He went to a pool party at the home of an individual who had ties with the same individuals who were arrested. So he went to a pool party, okay, on Memorial Weekend, okay. He went to a pool party at the home of an individual who had ties with the same individual who was arrested. Let that sink in a little bit. Teresa, also young, please hit like. Good morning, Chris. Marianne, thanks concerning all suspicious interests. Teresa, I mean, her husband was punching. This is so sad. I remember sort of watching this. So now you know that's what they were investigating. He went to a pool party, and I'm almost positive he was literally off duty at the time, but it was of someone who was friends with the people that he was working a case against in narcotics. All right. And they were arrested. Now, the person's name of the owner of that house, that wasn't given. Okay. That was not given. So I can't give you whose name that individual was. Okay. So the idea that that's what the case they were working on. Now, according to the report, Slice attended a social gathering and pool party in late May of 2013, residents while off duty. According to the report, one of Slice's arrestees, that's one of the Slice's persons that got arrested, the arrestees, whose name was also redacted, show up at the party briefly besides telling the investigators that he attended this party. Now, the idea that he told the investigators when they questioned him during the AI interview, he said he attended this party. He did admit to attending this party. Okay. So this is where this is going. Now they're investigating him at this point. He attended this party. He told the investigators that he attended the party with the fact that the arrestee would not be there. So apparently he knew that this guy was friends of the person that was arrested in that case that he worked on in narcotics. Okay. And he's literally telling the investigators in AI who are investigating him, he's telling them that basically, I didn't know that that guy who got arrested in my case was going to be there. But he obviously knew, without a doubt, more than likely, in my opinion, that the guy who invited him there was friends with the guy that got arrested. You follow me? See how that little twist is in there? So think about that. I know it's a lot of info reading between the lines here. So he goes to a pool party. His friend invites him, the guy that knows him invites him to a pool party on Memorial Weekend. He goes there. Okay. He goes there. He tells the investigators, yes, I went there, but I didn't know that the guy that got arrested in my case that I worked on was going to be there. So he definitely knew who this guy was. He definitely knew he was friends of the guy that invited him there, right? I mean, that's pretty plain as day. Okay. Slice further advised the investigators that someone at the party tried to offer his girlfriend at that time, whether it was Alina or someone else, they don't specify because it's redacted. Okay. They try to offer her Somali, a drug. The report, which was heavily redacted, did not show clearly if this was the host that was trying to offer, the guy that invited him was trying to offer his girlfriend Molly, or if it was someone else, or if it was the guy that got arrested that was there. Okay. I know this is confusing, but we'll go over it again. Investigators noted that Molly was an underlying factor in the case that Slice was involved in. Okay, now you follow me there. The drugs that they were working the narcotics case on, okay, that Brandon Slice was working on, was dealing with Molly. That was a drug they were busting this individual for, was the amount of Molly they had. Okay. So the idea that the same drug that he busted this guy for who was at that party, okay, for Molly, which is a drug that they were offering his at that time girlfriend, which could be Alina, could be someone else, okay, the idea that that was what the case was about Molly. You see how there's a conflict of interest there. Okay, you follow me so far? All right. Let me read some of these just so I don't get too far behind. That's concerning all suspicious indeed, says L. Teresa, I mean her husband. L, not very smart of him, without a doubt. You just don't do that, okay? You know, when you're an officer, especially when you're a narcotics detective, you don't, let me rephrase, you don't go over people's homes that you're working cases on or friends of people. If they're friends of other people who are dealing drugs, you don't go to their home, the friend's home, because you know that could be there, right? It's a good chance they're friends. Why would you associate with people like that? That's just common sense. Tarek, good morning, DD. Good morning, Tarek. April, topic for Alina Moore, South Carolina, who was found unalive. Norma says, good morning, Tarek. Hello, Tarek. Thank you, April. Tarek. Good morning, Norma. Hello, good morning. Hello, Terry. Good morning, Carol. Good morning, Marianne. Is this the girl with the pink shoes? Says Nina. This is the girl from South Carolina, Nina. From South Carolina. Alina Catherine Moore. Her husband was Brannon Slice. He worked at the Lexington County Sheriff's Office as a deputy. Terry, good morning, April. Norma, good morning. Nina is the girl on Ring camera with the DoorDash. Yes, that's the girl. That is the girl, Nina. Thank you so much, April, for clarifying that. Nina, okay, we'll look it up. So now the investigators, the reason they are on this is because he worked a case that arrested an individual that was at that party that was dealing or involved with the Molly, the drug. And that is the same drug that someone tried to offer his girlfriend at that party currently. Okay. Just not a good thing to be there. And I'm building this to let you know it's who you associate with, it's what you associate with. And it also sends a message on what could have been, what could have happened, yada, yada, yada. And I'm going to get to the point where I'm thinking this is going because, well, I'll get to that point here in a second. Slice stated that now he's telling the investigators, Brandon Slice, stated that she was renting a room from someone who was working with that crime network. Okay. So basically, his girlfriend rented a room from a person, a room like a apartment, a room or maybe a room of a house. You know how they have 4 bedrooms or 3 bedrooms or 3 apartments within a house, something like that is what I'm thinking they're saying. But she rented a room from someone who was working with that crime network. So the network that they were busting for Molly, distributing Molly, okay, that network, his girlfriend was renting a room from one of them persons who was involved in that network. Now, Slice failed to mention to the investigators about his attractions with the network. Not really sure what that really means, attractions, but Slice failed to mention to the investigators about his attractions with the network. The case report also showed many contradictory comments made by Slice in that report. Okay, so that report also talks about he basically he didn't tell all the truth. He may have told some, but he didn't give everything out. He didn't say how he was like involved in some capacity with this group. Okay, he left some things out, crucial information out. Let's just go with that. The probe decided this probe now is the people that look into literally what's happening, and they're the ones that make the decisions on what's going to happen in the AI report. The probe decided to sustain an issue, and they issued two findings against Brandon Slice. They issued two findings. Okay, they issued a judgment in attending the pool party with the knowledge of a host drug connection and insubordination for providing false information to his supervisors about the incident. Slice never faced the board findings directly, though, okay, through paperwork. And the reason he never faced the board is because Slice, he actually ended up resigning. Slice is now listed as a private investigator. So he ended up resigning so he didn't have to go through this investigation. The Criminal Justice Academy indicates record that Slice requested a contested case hearing before the Law Enforcement Training Council. So he's now in front of the board, and he's asking them for a reinstatement to be an officer. The state body determined whether officers should be decertified, whether they should take away his certification so he can no longer be a cop or not. And I'm telling you, it takes a lot for that. The academy confirmed, and he resigned. He being Slice ended up resigning. Okay, he resigned from his position before the Internal Affairs investigation. So they're doing an investigation on him. He's at the board. He's in the front of a panel, and they're going ahead and telling him what their findings are about their investigation on him. And before they can do anything, he resigns so he doesn't have to deal with all the BS. Let's just say, or it's not BS, but all the issues that he's facing. And at that point, he was charged with misconduct, and he was stripped of his law enforcement certification. That is when he got stripped. This is 3 months after he was involved with the Alina Catherine Moore. This all happened 3 months. Now, you got to also remember, Alina Moore was climbing to be a model for a calendar, to be on a calendar for products, okay? Products of all sorts. They didn't specify what kind of products. Okay, so that's what you have. Now, let me explain to you why this is a big deal. Okay, and this is going to be more from law enforcement perspective. Okay, I'm just going to go back and read. Nina, that's the girl on the Ring camera of the DoorDash delivery. Nina, okay, I'll look it up. Tarek, Alina, is she the one who walked into the woods later found? Yes, that is correct, Tarek. Tarek, or was she walking in the direction? Yes. Yes, Tarek, says April. Tarek, okay. Teresa, this is why I love DD. You literally read everyone's text if you can. Thank you. You got it, Teresa. Tarek, so did Alina's husband get questioned yet? This was back in 2013. He was questioned because he was a drug detective working on a case that AI was looking into him. Internal Affairs was looking into him. Okay. Now, he has not been associated with the unaliving or whatever, or any participation at this point to Alina's unaliving. You know, they don't know what caused that yet, but we'll get to that. But he is not involved in that. I'm laying you the groundwork as to about Brandon Slice. What about it? Who is this guy? How long was he with Alina? He was with Alina since 2013. You know, she was going to be a pinup model for a calendar to I'm assuming to sponsor products. Okay, in other words, she was climbing the ladder, so she has already been climbing that ladder. She was already sustaining what she wanted to do. She met literally Brandon Slice. And at that point, they started a relationship in 2013. Okay, only 3 months later, that's when everything came tumbling in, if you will. Everything started happening with Slice, the detective. He was Tarek. Thanks. Who DD is talking about? Her husband. He was Tarek. That's who DD was talking about, is her husband. I'm sorry if it's not really that clear, guys. I'm trying to, I know it's a lot of information all at once, but it's the only way to get this out there and then for us to be able to talk about it. April, you are very welcome. Nina, examination of the body revealed no evidence of traumatic injury. Correct. Including no bruising, lacerations, gunshots, etc. Correct. Strangulation or other injuries. Fisher. Correct. Nina said in the statement. Correct. Nina, consultant. As a result, the case of the death remains pending at this time, she said in the statement. That is correct. All corrects. Nina. April, Nina, the coroner could not give cause of death, which is strange. Yes, that is totally correct, April. And that's the main issue here. They are the ones that usually come across what she died of or how she became unalive. And they could not give that information. That is well said, April. Thank you. Norma, thank you, Nina, for sharing. Nina, if no trauma or injuries in most cases, this is induced drug usage or suicide. We will get to that, I promise you, Nina. But yes, that could be an avenue to go down that road, without a doubt. You welcome, April, says Nina. L, waiting on for tech, toxicology report, thinking that may give us answers, especially given what Dee Dee is telling us about her husband. Thank you, L. Well said. Well said. Carol, she also had heart issues. That is correct, Carol. Nina, her husband could have induced drugs. Yeah, way ahead of the game here, Nina, but we'll get to that. But you're right. It could have been that she was that they induced her with drugs. That is a possibility. We will get that, I promise you. Teresa, Nina, well, according to the amount of injuries that has the cause of death, probably trying to figure out which one she died of. Very sad indeed. Correct, Teresa. Another crooked cop, says April. You can't make this shit up, everybody. Tarek, what was the cop's name again? Brannon, Brannon, slice, like a slice of pizza, Slice. L, exactly what I was thinking, April. Infuriating. Brandon Slice, Slice. Thank you, L. April, Brandon Slice is his name. Terry, thank you. Okay, I thought that was her husband. My bad, he's a cop. It is her husband. Was her husband because she is now deceased. Terry. Teresa. Oh, by the sounds of things, he's a jealous husband and couldn't deal with her beauty. So the horrible man decided to take her out, in my opinion. Very possible. I'm not laughing because of that. I'm just trying to get everything in context, everybody. That is correct, Teresa. Carolina girl, sounds like she was intentionally drugged and ended in an overdose. Very possible. Very possible. Well said, Carolina girl. Ocean Waves. April, I think it's Brannon Slice. Yeah, it's Brannon or something to that effect. I that's what they had it, how they had it spelled. Brannon. L. It is her husband, yes, and he was a cop, narcotics detective, Terry. That is correct, L. Teresa. Oh, that name, Slice, says enough to me. Derek. Okay, it is her husband. I looked it up. I just told you. It was her husband. Yikes. I can't help. Keep up. Derek. L. No problem, Derek. April. It is Brannon. Sorry, guys. Misprint. Thank you so much, April. Cat goes. Sorry. I couldn't participate chat much, but I'm listening. You got it, Catco. No worries. April, thank you. L, that's okay, Catco. Thank you for being here. Nina, LL, laughing out loud. Didi, sorry, I'm ahead of the crime. Yeah, I'll get there. I promise you, I'll get there. Jim, hello, everyone. Good to have you, Jim. Teresa, Nina, Read it wrong, so not any signs of your statement. I misread it. Carol, okay, Cat Go. Norma, hello, Jim. L, Jim. Buttercuss, hi, all listening in. Thank you, Buttercuss, for being here. Thank you, 1985, and Carol getting ready to go to camp for the weekend. Awesome. That's awesome, Cat Go. Going to be hot. Norma, hello, Buttercups. Good to see you. Jim, Norma, Ocean, Dee, you overlooked me. Hang on, let me see here. You overlooked me. Let me see, Ocean. April, think it's Brannon Slice. No, it's the way April just said. It's Brannon. Brannon. Brennan. Brennan Slice. All right. Nina, Terry, Norma. I got to go back to where I was at. Hi, all listening in. Buttercups, thank you. Ocean, Didi, you overlooked me. My mother's always said, you are who you hang out with. Without a doubt, Ocean. That is well said. No doubt about it. You are who you hang out with. That's a very good, I've heard that before, and that is a very good point. No doubt about it. Spot on. April, Buttercups, Terry, hubby looks suspicious. Without a doubt, Jim, Al, Carol, have fun, Catco, Jim, April, Chico Stick. Anybody know how long they were separated? We're not even there yet, Chico, but yeah, I don't know how long they were separated. I don't think that's information that's been released yet, to be honest. That's really kind of murky right now. Catco, have a nice, wonderful time and safe travels. Marianne, hi, Jim. Hello, Jim. El Chico, I heard a few months, but I'm not 100% sure. Thank you, El. Catco, thank you, Carol. We leaving Friday. Such a chore getting everything ready to go. Without a doubt, Catco. El, please remember to hit the like if you haven't. Hit the like in the chat. Thank you. Chico Stick. Okay, El. Jim, Marianne, Carol. Good morning, Devil Dog. Mary Kaleo. Good morning. Good to have you here. Norma, yes, Cat Go. Norma, good morning. Mary, no. Mary Kaleo says no sound. Do we not have sound? I think we have sound. It's going to 85 in Keaton Beach, Florida. Hubby and Grands want to fish and collect shells. Awesome. Welcome all in. Thanks for being here. Hit the like and subscribe. L, hello, Mary. May want to go out and come back in. Sound is good here. Thank you, Al. Appreciate that. Thank you, Norma. Laughing out loud. Norma, thank you. 1985. Norma, yes. April, Marianne, Mary, you may be behind the stream. Go to come back in. All right, we are caught up. Now let's talk about what we just found out. So we know Brannon was a detective in narcotics. Okay, I'm going to run this real quick. Brannon was a detective in narcotics when he worked for Lexington County Sheriff's Office. Okay, in 2013, he was involved. That's when he got involved with Alina Moore. Okay, that's when they became an item. Now, 3 months later, well, let's go for Alina. Alina was going and headed, she was climbing the ranks to be on a pinup calendar. Okay, a pinup calendar, because apparently she was looking really good, working out and whatever. She was going to be in a pinup calendar. That's what she was working towards, and she was climbing the ranks for products for better lack of words, to endorse products. At the same time, Brandon, after 3 months into the relationship, Brannon went ahead. I'll just say Slice, okay? Slice went ahead, the detective, and they started an AI investigation, internal affairs investigation on him, okay? We're there. You guys got that, okay? Chris, I need a vacation. You and me both, Chris. April, Mary, you may be behind. Go out, Ketco. I have my opinions about Alina, so I'm waiting for the toxicology report. That's a very good thing, Ketco. Chris, why not? Why not, Chris? Why not? April, Chris, I go in 2 weeks, but hubby got me a new laptop to take and DD with me. Hoorah. Norma, we all need a vacation. Okay, guys, from what I just told you, tell me what you know, what I just told you. And if you don't, I'll go ahead and be able to answer that. I wanted to get the whole thing out there so now we can discuss what we think. Okay? So tell me what you think about what you just heard, if you could make sense of what I just said. I know there's a lot there, but this is where we're at. What do you all think? Anything? So I believe, in my opinion, we all need a vacation. Cricket Cop says April. Very good, very good. Well stated, April. Very possible, no doubt. Norma, that is so awesome, April. Have a wonderful time and safe travels. Sweet weekend, friend. That is very well said, April. No doubt. Anybody else? Jim says Alina was from Russia originally. That is correct, Jim. L, yes, Cricket Cop, agree with you, April, says L. Mary Calio, okay, we are good on the sound now. Good deal, Mary Calio. Chris, Didi, I sent another email. Please read what I posted in the email. This is what I'm reading here, what Chris just posted. I didn't get it yet, Chris. Yeah, I didn't get it yet. You might want to send it again, my friend. I did not get it yet. I read the one you sent. Um, Growski, need to choose your friends carefully. Without a doubt, Growski. Well said. Well said. Good, April. Good, Mary. Ocean Waves. Yes, Growski. Agree. Carol Burton. I believe it was drug induced heart attack. Very, very possible. I am with you on that, Carol. Chris, in from a bit ago. Got you. Tarek, I sliced did if Slice did unalive Alina, what would his motive be? Not saying he did, Terry. Not saying he did. We don't know what happened to Alina. We don't know what happened to Alina. So I can't answer that because I don't know. I'm not saying he did unalive her. Um, yeah, really don't know. But I can give you an idea here in a few. Norma, yes, Carol, I strongly agree. Mary, coming in good and clear. Awesome. Norma, that is wonderful news. Mary, glad you figured it out. So, my take here is it's very possible, okay, very possible that somehow this Molly from 2013 now to currently, it is possible that someone could have literally slipped this drug of Molly into her water at Planet Fitness or in her drink or somewhere where she had consumed it. That could have caused her to be very um, sporadic, very chaotic, kind of like the signs that you saw when she was out at that front door acting like she was the DoorDash driver. Remember? That could have well been something that someone used to get her to that state of mind. It is very, very possible. Not saying it happened. I'm just saying it's something that somebody could have used. Obviously, because she had been around this before, more than likely, if she was the girlfriend back in the day when Slice met her, she would have known what that was. Yes, Carol, I strongly agree. Mary coming in good. Norma, April, I said from beginning she found out hubby having an affair and confronted him, in my opinion. Very possible. Because you remember those notes we read about what she wrote on her Instagram. L, I don't think he did it, in my opinion. I think she unalived herself, drugs, but that's my feeling because of the chaos and issues of their relationship. Very possible, L. That's a good point. Nina, in the video, which was captured on ring camera footage and shown on local stations, Moore was seen picking up a bag of food of door. Yes, we covered that. Delivery woman and just dropped it off at the apartment. Yes, we seen that one and we covered that one for sure. Well said, Nina. Terry, well, there'll be a toxicology report. There is one out already. It hasn't been released yet, but there is one that they're doing at this current time, Tarek. Teresa, I don't know a lot about this case, but because she was so beautiful, it doesn't mean she's not an addict, nor gives anyone a reason to unalive her. But I feel drugs definitely involved. Very good point, Teresa. Well said. Yes, Tarek. Just waiting for it to come in. Carol, I agree. Tarek, L1 being in the physical fitness field, maybe steroids and other drugs. Always possible. Jim, a friend of Alina said she became scared of him and he had taken her car away. She probably had to take an Uber to Planet Fitness. Yeah, I don't know that, Jim. I think she had drove to Planet Fitness and dropped her car off, worked out because they found her car later at the parking lot of the grocery store. Trying to think of what the hell the grocery store was. Publix. At the grocery store of Publix, which is right next door to the fitness center. Ocean says, loved your show, DD. You care about our opinions by reading all. You got it. You got it, Ocean. Waves. L could be Tarek, but I highly suspect it is the drugs her husband was around, in my opinion. Chris, DD, I sent it again. It has to do with Elena. You got it. Now I just got it, Chris. Okay, so I'm going to read you what Chris just sent me, okay? So listen, everybody, before you do anything, listen. Despite the friend's allegations, experts appear to concur with the police assessment of the husband. Ex FBI agent Jennifer Koffendorfer said when she walks into the wooded area, she doesn't have her cell phone pinging, and there are full on cameras there. No one follows her in there. So, for these reasons, and the fact they've said that they don't see anything, I think this is making a big leap to say he, Slice, walked in there and committed the homicide on this. Thank you so much, Chris. So, basically, Coffindoffer, if you haven't watched her, she's a very good show. I'm subscribed to her. Very good show. Jennifer Koffendorfer. She's an ex FBI agent. She is saying that because they don't have anybody following her into the wood stream, if you will, the wood line, that basically it is hard to say that it was her ex husband or husband who ended up unaliving her. And it would be something not fair to say that, it would be fair to say that she just walked in there on her own at this point. But it would not, I think this is not making a big leap to say that Slice ended up doing this. So, in other words, what she's saying is that when Alina walked into the wood line, right? When she walked into the wood line, there's nothing showing anybody else behind her following her. Okay. So, for anybody to suggest that Slice could have done this to her, well, there's no evidence that he was even there. So got to put that in context. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that info, my friend. Husband didn't report her missing right away, but she could be. They were separated. You guys got what I just said, right? Teresa, just want to make sure. Nina, you seem to be very up to date with the case. I'll have to start at the beginning. Jim, the friend says he put the car there in the parking lot. The friend says he put the car. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't hear that part, Jim, that the friend said he put the car there. I know that her husband had that car towed to his house, but I didn't hear anything about the friend saying she put the car there. They said the car was there. So I'm not sure. I'd have to read that and let me know where you found that so I can see that if you don't mind. Thank you, Jim. Morning, everyone. I am very late, says Oleg. Alyssa says morning. Good to have you, Alyssa. Ocean Waves, Oleg. L. Hello, Oleg and Ellie. Oleg, Ellie, Ocean. April, Jen has an FBI info from former associates. That is correct, April. So, see, everybody, the idea is that to think that her husband Slice, Alina's husband Slice, Brannon Slice, could have done this. It doesn't show that in the video. It just shows her walking into the wood line. Her phone never pinged. She didn't have her phone with her, so there was never a ping. So as she walked into the wood line, what Kopfendorfer is saying is that you don't see her husband walking behind her or in the woods. So therefore, it would be a stretch to say that he was the one that did this. Okay, it would be a stretch to say that, which I totally agree 100%. Okay, at this point, we're just trying to figure out what was the history of Brannon Slice. Why was he terminated from his police position? Why did the state of Ohio, or I'm sorry, the state of South Carolina, why did they strip him of his certification to be a police officer? It's about his friends, the people he knew, the people that he associated with, the people that he worked cases on, and then goes to a pool party on Memorial Weekend, goes to a pool party that he now is seeing the person who is friends with the person that was arrested in that case dealing with Molly. Molly was the whole focus point of this operation. Okay. So it's like you're going back to an area where you have what I would call some bad guys dealing in narcotics, Molly, and he now shows up there because a friend invited him there. So he goes there only to find out that there's another guy there that he had arrested during his investigation. You follow me? It's that who you know, it's that who you're associated with, it's that who you're congregating around, it's who you're hanging around with, right? Makes it looks very suspicious. Very so right now we're just talking about Brandon. Who is he? What is he about? What is his history? What is his track record? Because his track record and what he has done is going to kind of start to narrow things out, as in, could he have thought this? Could he have done this? Could he have been a part of this? You understand what I'm saying? It's the thinking of the mind, of the process of what exactly is Brandon Slice about, and why did he get terminated? Why did he go ahead and literally, like, when did they meet? You understand what I'm saying? It's very important to understand that, because that puts everything in context to what kind of person was Brandon Slice. That's the whole point here. Everything else is going to come, but that right there is what you need to know to then be able to make an assessment as to where do you think this goes from here. You know what I mean? I hope you guys understand that. Hello, Oleg, Ellie Ocean, Jen has FBI info from former associates. Well said, April. Teresa, yeah, she could have been on some sort of drug and went jogging, but her heart could give out. That is correct, Teresa. 100%. It's very possible. And that's what could be when they do the toxicology report. That's what it could come out to be honest with you. Yes, I have that feeling myself, says Catgo. Teresa, toxicology report will tell. A to Z. Good morning. Happy hump day. You got it, AZ. CB's in the house, everybody. Good to have you, CB. Good morning. Carol, hello. Norma, good morning. Allie and Oleg, good to see you both here. Ocean, CB, hello, CB. Catco, yes, 1985. We usually are on some same thoughts. Norma, good morning. Norma, good morning, CB. April, hey, AZ, sunshine. L, hello, CB and AZ. L, Catco, yes, we are. April, hello, CB. So the importance of understanding that is that you get to see what kind of detective, what kind of officer, what kind of law enforcement officer was Brannon Slice. You get to see and know what was his stick, what was his job. Was he just literally a deputy, or did he have a specialty? Well, we know now he had a specialty, and it was in narcotics, right? He was a narcotics detective in Lexington County Sheriff's Office, right? He was a narcotic detective, which means his whole premise and work is around narcotics, busting people who are dealing drugs, busting people who are selling drugs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We now understand what type of role he fit. Remember, in the back of our other lives that we did about Alina, we talked about what was his role, what did he do, did he get fired? Well, now we know he definitely got terminated, and we know why he got terminated, because he made some poor decisions going back to a party to people that he had arrested on a case that dealt with the same thing they were trying to bust people with, dealing Molly. And then he tells the investigators that while he's at this party with his girlfriend, that someone offers his girlfriend some Molly, which is the same thing they were busting back in the day. You see what I'm saying? Because this all happened in 2013. You guys with me so far? Good morning, Sunshine. Good morning, CB. Hey, AZ, Sunshine. And now he's a PI, right? Absolutely, Carol. Hello, CB, says April. April, narcotics detective wife dies from narcotics. What a headline that will be, without a doubt. Well said, April. You got it. Carolina girl, sounds like Slice got caught dipping in the narcs deposit of the station, possibly. Very possible. Well said, Carolina girl. Now your guys are literally on right on it. So, not to say that he did or didn't do anything, but that's why he got terminated. Okay, that's why they stripped his certification. That's why they took his badge away. Think about that for a minute. I mean, they're taking your badge away that you earned. That's huge. Okay, he didn't stay for the AI what they found, because he resigned from his position. Then they went ahead and still went ahead and put the charges through, just so that they could go ahead and make sure that they had all their dots, that dotted their I's and crossed their T's. All their paperwork was legit. They went ahead and charged him. Okay, and he didn't do any time or anything like that, but they charged him just to make it official. You follow me? It's very important to understand it, because that's where we're at. Because we're trying to understand what caused Alina Moore to just literally be unalive, when the coroner said there was no marks on her neck, no marks on her body, no head trauma, no injuries, no nothing. We were trying to figure out how could someone just become unalive without any marks? Whether they fell, they would have fallen, they would have scraped their body. There was idea that maybe she fell from the top of the bridge 8 to 10 feet down, that she went over the embankment and fell down. Well, she would have bruises and marks. So the idea was trying to figure out what happened to Alina Moore. Now we hear all this about literally Brannon Slice, the detective of narcotics detective, and I'm asking the question, what role could have been played here? Remember when we talked about, somebody could have drugged her water at the Planet Fitness. Somebody could have drugged her whatever she was drinking, right? Somebody could have planted something. Ironically, Molly would fit a good drug to do that. Molly is a good drug that you could do that, and it would give you those type of symptoms, in my opinion, of what she was showing when she was at on the 4th, when she was at the house, the apartment, acting like she was a DoorDash person. Remember? See how things are starting to come together? It's not that it's factual, it's just that it makes a lot of sense how things could fall in play. We're not saying anybody did anything because we don't know. But I would wonder if that toxicology report comes out, what's it going to have? Is it going to have Molly in her system? It's very possible. Granted, we have to wait and see. But if it does, could you imagine the turns and backs and forth that this case is going to take? Because then it's like, well, how did she get a hold of this? If in fact it is, we don't know what's in her system. We don't know if she was, anything was done that they gave her, or if she found a way to get some and take it herself, and her heart gave out because she had a bad heart. There's so many possibilities here, and we're just trying to understand what roles does Alina play in her unaliving. What role does Brandon Slice play in her unaliving? And if there's any connection to either one of those two in her unaliving. That's what we're trying to figure out. Just wanted to go ahead and get that out there. April, even a fall, I would think would see by a corner without a doubt. April, Jim Slice had his police certification pulled from SLED, state law enforcement, after the SLED investigation. Yes, they did, Jim, without a doubt. So could Slice be a cop in another state or not? I don't know if any state would hire him because he'd have to go ahead and put his resume out there. I don't think if anybody did a background on him, they would realize he was a cop. So I don't know if anybody would hire him with that baggage. I mean, look at for all sake of purpose, look at Nanos. Nanos got hired and he had a lot of baggage. So it just depends on who does the background and how seriously they take their background checks. That would be my answer to that, Terry. April, even a fall, yes, would show something on her. L, exactly, DD. Jim, if we could get a copy of the SLED investigation, that would tell a lot. It would, Jim, no doubt about it. Tarek, I've read articles where cops get fired for different reasons, move to another state, and get hired again. It just depends on the department. It just depends on how good of a background investigation they do on that individual. So, really, everything's going to be how good a background they do. We know Pima County didn't do a very good job on their background because Nanos had a lot of issues and he got hired. So it is possible to get hired. I'm just saying, if a department is good at what they do, they will not overlook that, in my opinion, without a doubt. Norma, point taken, DD. Bridget, how she was acting and how she was found was very strange. Without a doubt, Bridget, without a doubt. L, suspicious circumstances, in my opinion. Kay Beckstein, what is Molly? Well, let's just go. It's been a while, but let's just go and ask, what is Molly? What is Molly? I think I know, but I want to make sure. I've heard of it a lot. What is Molly? The drug. It's a street name for it's a street name for methylodoxymethamphetamines, methamphetamines, basically MDMA, an illegal synthetic drug classified as both a stimulant and a mild hallucinogen. That would explain her very lackadaisical, right? Her very being very um, kind of like flighty, right? Not sure where she's at, not sure really what she's doing. You know, she got some sense of what's going on, but then on the other hand, she's a little bit not sure, right? It's that mild hallucinogen. It is known for producing euphoria, highlighted energy, heightened energy, and intense feelings of empathy. It is highly dangerous due to unregulated production and risk of adulteration. It's a crystalline powder form of MDMA. So it's kind of like ecstasy. If you know what ecstasy is, it's kind of like that. It has the same active drug in it, but it is typically pressed into colorful stamp pills. It is almost always swallowed through, it is sometimes snorted. It's a Schedule One controlled substance, which means the government considers it a high addictive with no accepted medical use. So basically, in essence, it is basically a mild hallucinogen. It also causes euphoria, stimulant, erratic. It could cause a lot of erraticness. It would definitely show you the symptoms of what she displayed on that camera in front of that apartment when she was acting like she was the DoorDash driver. It would basically give you that type of, remember how we thought, man, she's all over the place. She doesn't look like she knows where she's at. She looks a little bit like sad. She looks a little bit like this and that. That's what this drug basically what it does. So is it possibility that someone spiked her drink or she took it herself? It's a possible. I'm not saying that happened, but it is a possibility. It could explain exactly what her mental state was at the time when she, if in fact she had, somebody had put it in her drink. Think about it. Maybe she came out of Planet Fitness and she started walking and somebody had put it in her drink or put it in her water before she left to Planet Fitness. Once she gets there, she's drinking this. She gets done working out. It's causing her to work out harder because it's building that stamina, right? It's building that. It's getting you that euphoria, and then she gets done working out, and then she goes and she walks out, and then it starts taking effect even more. And as she's walking, she's now really, not all there. Now I know that the incident at the apartment where she was acting like the DoorDash driver, right, with the food in her hand, apparently, we know that happened on the fourth. Was she on that trip for a while? You follow me? Did they find that in her system? We don't know, but it is a good indication that's how she was acting is kind of similar to what that drug really does to a person's body. That's what you got to remember. Good question, KB. Kimmy, that's what I'm waiting for, says Kimmy. Good to have you, Kimmy. Tarek, Molly is a drug. Kimmy, good morning, Dee. And all you ask some people out there. I gotta find out because it just skips. So I gotta find out where we're at. Give me. A meth based drug, says Jim. Marianne, you would think of her heart gave out and she fell to the ground, it would leave marks. Yeah, I mean, it definitely would cause her heart to give out because it's probably pounding and pounding back and forth. It's very possible if that was what somebody either spiked her drink or she took, or something happened that it got into her system. Norma, a drug K. L. Molly is basically ecstasy in powder form, says L. Carolina, hello, Kim. Norma, good morning, Kimmy. Marianne, stop thinking like me, April. L, hi, Kimmy. Kimmy, good morning, April. April, Marianne, I agree with you. Kimmy, good to see you, Norma. L, please hit the like if you haven't already. Thanks, Devil Pups. You got it. Well said, L. Kimmy, good morning. April, in my opinion, she could have been placed where they found her. No scratches or nothing. That's a very good point, April. Very good point. She very well could have gave out somewhere else, and then someone just took her there. The only thing is they saw her on the last camera going into the wood line, if you will, and I do mean wood line. Okay, so they did see her going in there, which would make it a possibility. But then again, she also could have been placed there without a doubt. April, good point. Tarek, ecstasy died out in the late 90s. I see it's back, unfortunately. Jim, no, not with a certification being pulled unless he went to work for Pima County Sheriff's Department. Very well said, Jim. L, that's a good one. Chris McLaughlin, did I ever tell you I need a vacation? Yes, I am with you, my friend. Chico Stick, when she was released from the mental hospital, maybe they put her on medications that eventually did not agree with her heart problem. Yeah, that's a possibility, Chico Stick. No doubt about it. That's a very good possibility. Jim, you got that right, says April. Tarek, I think it was Detroit. They were hiring felons to be cops a few years ago. They were so desperate at that time, says Tarek. Norma, Jim, L 1985. I came up with a good one every now and then. Ocean waves retracted, Carolina girl laughing, L, Jim, Tarek. A professor I had at college had a sign on her door. Everyone you meet will know something you don't. Amen. Well said. April, she was looking for someone in the door ring camera. She even went back after walking away. You're exactly right, April. Can't forget that fact without a doubt. Good point. Groundsey, someone may have slipped her a Mickey. That's very possible, Groundsey. Well said, Marianne. Never leave your drink unattended. You never know what people will do. That's 100% correct. No doubt about it, Marianne. Well said. Kimmy, awesome. April, chat is on fire again today. You all are awesome. Please be patient as Dee Dee moves down the comments. Thank you, April. Jim, she had just got out of Three Rivers Mental Health Hospital. Yes, that is correct, without a doubt. Tarek, I think it's the drug related. Can't wait for the toxology to be released. You and everybody else with us, Tarek. Without a doubt. Well said. Marianne, you got that right. Norma, thank you, April. L, her husband did say she was unwell. That could mean many things, without a doubt, L. Well said. Oleg, just looked her up and she was charged with domestic violence when she was 19. I did not see that at all, Oleg. I actually even searched that myself. I could not find that. Interesting. Thank you for that information. Annie, here I am late. Good morning and shit late again. You're good, Annie. You are here. No worries. L, maybe he knew she was taking those drugs. Just a thought. That's a possibility. It's a good possibility, Al. Tarek, wow, Oleg. L, hello, Annie. L, Oleg, Annie, there you go. April, Annie, good to see you. Annie, April, hi. Norma, good morning. Annie, glad you made it in. Good to see you. Annie, hi. Norma, hi. Tarek, Annie, better late than never. Absolutely. Annie, Tarek, I used to tell my mom that when she yelled because I was late for school. Tarek, Teresa says, my drink doesn't get a chance to be left unattended. Without a doubt, that's the best thing you could do. Terry, Annie, laughing out loud. I mean, it could have been anybody in that Planet Fitness, right? It could have been anybody if, in fact, she was drugged. We don't know if she was drugged or not. We don't know what her system's going to show. We don't know what it's going to have in it. You know, it could be something totally off base. You know what I mean? We really truly don't know. But then again, it could be something that falls in line with what we just heard about what is in that area. Obviously, you know, Mali at one time was big over there because they were using their narcotic task force to actually go in there and bust all that drug of Mali. So it's very possible. April, her friend did say her interview that she was in the club scene. Well said, April. You got that right. And those people, I'm telling you what, if people don't know that by now, the club scene, being in a bar, always, having to go to the restroom, leaving your drink there, because that's what most people do, right? They're amongst friends. They don't think anything. That's a good time when anybody could put something in your drink. You're at a workout. You're working out at one other side of the gym, let's say, and you leave your water or you whatever. You go to the restroom. You leave your water bottle there. Somebody could open it real quick, throw something in there, close it, and that's the end of that. It's hard telling, but I'm sure they'll have cameras. I'm sure they would have got the cameras at Planet Fitness because I know they have cameras there. I would think they have cameras there. Jim, living with Slice would put anyone in a mental in a mental hospital, says Jim. Oh, well said. Ha ha, Teresa, Derek. I have not seen a pic of Slice. I have to Google that. Norma, Teresa, Bridget, did she have any past drug addictions? I didn't hear of any, to be honest, and I didn't read of any, and they didn't talk about any. So, but it is ironic going back to she was going, she was on the verge. She was ranking high in the stature of being a pinup model for a calendar to promote products, right? So she was literally climbing that ladder. I mean, let's just think of a lot of times what modeling, what type of atmosphere is in modeling, what type of goes into that. Let's talk about, not talk about, but let's think about how it all fits in with, is there a lot of use in drug use in modeling? Is there a lot of drugs used in, you know, working out? You know what I mean? What kind of people are you around in the modeling business? Are they sketchy? Are they not? It really don't know because there's so much ways you can go with that. So many ways. Bridget, did she have any past drug addictions? Her husband should be panicking if it comes back with drugs in her system, in my opinion, especially if it's Molly. Without a doubt, I would agree with that 100%. Norma, oh yes, 1985. Tarek, L1, good point. Oleg, she was found in the woodland. Their home is in woodland. Could she have been walking back to her home? It's possible. It's very possible. Like April, Tarek, her husband, to me looks older than her, and she is from Russia. Maybe mail order bride. Who knows? Very possible. We know that stuff exists, no doubt about it. Chris, she battled with severe anxiety. Yes, she did. That was stated earlier too, earlier in our live streams. when we first covered her. She did battle with anxiety without a doubt. Norma, thank you, Chris, for sharing. Tarek, April, it's interesting to say the least, and he does look older. He does look older. Carol, no, April, her parents adopted her from Russia. Doug, you would taste Molly, MDMA, in my opinion, something like Hydrocut or creatine, base. Not sure how you would take Molly and not know it, unlike Ruffles or GHB. Ole, he is 47. April, okay, Carol, thanks for clarifying that. Tarek, what is sad? What a sad ending. Tarek, Oleg and Alina was 39, right? So he was 3 years older than her. So yes, you welcome April. Teresa, April, I thought that, but makes no difference. But I get what you're saying. Just a passport to the USA, then pass herself up as a ladder. Jim, he is 47 and she was 39. He was 47, she was 39. So you're talking 8 years difference. Analyze Doug. Sorry, I'm late. You're good, Doug. You're good. Oleg, born 1986. Oleg, Alina. L, hi Doug, Tarek. Sorry, but he looks older than 47 on the pics I saw. Very possible. Saucy says hi, everybody. Saucy's in the house. Good to have you, Saucy. So now you combine both stories together. You combine the story of Alina with the story of Brannon Slice. You figure out when they first met, how did they first meet. We don't know how they first met, but we know they met and were together in 2013. We do know that because it says that. Okay. So they knew each other in 2013. They were together. They were, for better lack of words, an item. Um, but they didn't get married until 2024. That's when they got married. Now, when they first got together in 2013, they literally 3 months later in their relationship is when all the stuff comes falling down on Brandon Slice, being the AI investigation. So you look at what was that investigation about? He was a narcotic detective. He was doing an operation, okay, for narcotics. They made a bust. He then goes ahead and goes. There's an AI investigation brought up against him. So now this investigator finds out that he went to a Memorial Weekend party, literally, where he was invited by an individual who was friends of another individual that got arrested when he did that case. Now they're not saying who's the name of the person's home, but you understand what I'm saying? And it was a poor decision to go there. Okay. And then he didn't tell all the truth about everything that was going on. That's why they went ahead and stripped him of his certification, because that wasn't the only reason, but there was reasons why they had stripped him, because he told some maybe untruths or didn't tell all the truth, to the point that he thought it was better to leave than to go through that whole AI investigation, which he resigned. Okay. So that's how you got to look at all the pieces, how everything fits in, right? You look at both entities. I can tell you, to get stripped of your certification, man, it takes a lot. I mean, it takes a lot. But then again, it does happen, as we will see here. Carol, hello, Saucy. Hello, Saucy. Welcome in, Doug. Doug, Carol. He's 8 years older, says Jim. Hello, Saucy. Teresa, he looks so much older than her, but then the toxicology report comes through. I'm guessing it's going to be the heart. It's going to be, I mean, it very well could be. Then the question becomes, did they find any Molly in her system? And then if so, or they find any drug in her system, how did it get in there? Was it self-induced by her taking it, or did someone spike her drink or her water or whatever? How did she get it in her system? That's going to be the big question. Saucy, good to see everyone. Doug, he had an AIB investigation against him. Interesting. Trying to catch up. You got it, Doug. No worries. Teresa, I've learned not to judge because he was in narcotics, but their cases are very difficult, just as in Nancy Guthrie, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Jim, Doug, hello, beautiful people. Annie, what is Molly? Just Google it. It's like a euphoria, a drug, kind of like ecstasy. It's in a pill form. It's usually condensed and pressed. Um, it is a hallucinogen, a mild hallucinogen. It is something that basically causes you to be, uh, I don't want to say sporadic, but yeah, it's something in that realm where it would cause you to show signs of what she showed when she was out there at that front apartment door, acting like she was the DoorDash driver. Okay, it builds, it brings euphoria, gives you energy, gives you. It's just, it's really like ecstasy, but it also causes a lot of confusion. It also causes a lot of literally of for a better lack of words, literally, it is a hallucinogen, a mild hallucinogen that could have affected her heart. Well, without a doubt, that's what Molly is to the most part. Any Teresa, I'm gonna call him bread as slice. Sounds terrible. April, I can't say enough how you all helped Diddy built this community, Chad. You all are appreciated more than you know. Always great chat and opinions and info here, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Carol, Molly is a drug like ecstasy. Teresa, meth. Marion, I couldn't agree more, April. I learned so much from Didi and this chat. Annie, thank you, Didi. And I'm not a drug person. Just say wonder with what I've been through. No, I understand, Annie. You're good. Believe you me. You're good. No worries. No judgment here. This is just trying to understand what kind of person was Brandon, right? We didn't know what Brannon was. We didn't know what kind of person he was. We didn't know what he was about. We didn't know what his story was. We didn't know what the history was. We didn't know what his connection, why his connection, literally, with Alina. We had no clue, right? And then we come over this information, and thanks to Chris, we come up with this information, and all of a sudden now we're able to understand a lot more nuances about, wow, like we all suspected that maybe, you remember the first time we did a live on this, we all thought that, man, it sounds like somebody must have drugged her, like she was on drugs. Remember we were talking about that? And then all to find out what Brandon's Slice's role is in all this, as well as far as his job as narcotic, being a narcotic detective. And then we find out what the narcotic was, Molly. And then we find out what Molly really can do to your body. And then we find out she has a weak heart. And then we ask the question, well, what does Molly do? And then it's like, well, it definitely affects the heart, no doubt about it, because it causes a lot of euphoria, a lot of energy, and so you like almost like you're working yourself to death until you can't work no more, right? So all those things start to make sense. What really does, what we don't have is that golden nugget that I always tell you about, that big nugget. And you probably won't have that big nugget, but you have a lot of little pieces piecing together what could have happened, not what did happen, what could have happened, what might have happened. And sometimes those mites down the road, when this toxology report comes out, is going to actually tell you she had this in her system. Now we're still at the beginning because now we got to figure out, or they have to figure out, the detectives, how did that get into her system? Just that's a whole different animal. But just to understand the dynamics of what is Brandon Slice about, what is Alina Moore about, what did they do in their past, where were they headed, what were their goals, and then how did everything start to unfold. Makes a lot of sense when you think about it like that. Marianne, I couldn't agree more. April, Annie, thank you, DD. I'm not a drug person. Wonder with what I've been through. You're good, Annie. Doug, Molly increases your core temp, usually over 100, which makes hallucinate. It's called rolling. Bums holes in the brain. Yeah, I had no time to look it up, Doug, but yeah, that's basically in a nutshell. Without a doubt, thank you. Saucy, it is like having a blackout. You're awake, but don't remember nothing. That would explain why she was kind of sporadic all over the place. And did she take this on the fourth, right? Because the fourth is when she actually went to that apartment door, right? Was she on it for all that time on the fourth? You know, she got picked up. Was she taken to the Three Rivers facility because she was on it and they said she's definitely on some type of hallucinogen or something that's causing her this way? Take her to dry out or take her to put her in this facility. You know, she's there the whole time until the very last day where she gets out, and then she doesn't basically come home, and then her husband reports her on the 12th that she's on a lot that she is missing. I mean, there's a lot there, everybody. Saucy, Chris, Didi, I am digging stuff up today. Just sent another email. Read it. All right, everybody, hang on a second. I want to read this email. Okay, everybody, I'm going to read this. Chris just sent me this information. He's digging some stuff up. So I'm going to read this to you all. This is Chris McLaughlin from Let's Talk with Chris, okay? Just pretend like he's on live with me here. My London Nichols says, my dad saw her arguing with a man in the Planet Fitness parking lot, screaming at each other the day she went missing. The guy looked like he was on roids, bright red, not fat, but huge, fattest muscles. She was at a bar about a week before she went missing, which was probable cause for her husband to have done something, but she still has the gym. She still was at the gym on the day after he sold he sold the tickets. Look into the PF parking lot cameras, please. And the man who she was arguing with did not look like her husband. She also has been in Three Rivers recently because of psychotic breakdowns, see things, etc. Either this man could have done something to her husband, or she could have wandered off. It could be anything, and that's what's sad. This is from London Nichols. This was something he wrote up. Not sure where it's at. Don't know if it's factual, but definitely it's someone uh, that says the dad saw her arguing with somebody out in the parking lot of Planet's Fitness. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. So you get all that. Basically, a father of someone saw her arguing with someone who was in the parking lot, Planet Fitness parking lot. It was a one of these big muscle type of guys, not necessarily fat, but fatty, big arms, so forth and so forth. Who knows? Was that somebody? Could that's red hair, right? A redhead. He had red hair. So could it be someone that was arrested in 2013? Could it be someone that was stalking her? Could she have been the one that gave the information to the investigating teams that what her husband was involved with this whole operation of dealing in Mali? Could it have been something like that? It's very possible. They don't. They scratched out the girlfriend's name in 2013. They redacted that name all over the place. Then you ask the question, why? Well, they didn't say if that was his girlfriend. They should have just said that was his girlfriend. But for whatever reasons, they were trying to protect her, so they scratched out all the names that she was on in that whole basically report. So then that I have to ask the question, you know, why was her name redacted? And was that the girl? Because it says in 2013, that's when they first got together. 3 months later is when all this started happening. Did she, was that the same girl or was it a different girl? You know what I mean? That he was with, you know? Very hard to say. Then you think of the modeling industry and what she's in, you know, we know what goes into those type of professions. Is it possible that back in 2013 she was involved with some of these people? She did rent a room from somebody who was friends of this organization dealing this Molly, for a better lack of words. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot there, everybody. There's a lot there. I couldn't agree more, April. It's like having a blackout. Marianne, AJ, going live, Chris, today. Chris, are you going live later? Marianne, L, AJ, great minds, April. Melly's in the house. Good to have you, Melly. Chris, good morning. Melly, Photon. April, there's the email, everybody. Photon says L. Hello. Hi, Photo. Carol, okay, Chris. AJ, Photon, Melly. Chris, thank you for sharing that info with DD. We are appreciated, without a doubt. Photon Chronicles, Carol. Photon, hi, Marion. April, thank you, Carol, for posting that link. Photon, AJ, Carol, Burton, no problem, April. Marianne, thank you for all the information, Chris. You are awesome. Photon, Teresa is L. Groundsky, Chris and Didi make a great team without a doubt, Groundsky. Love working with Chris. Chris, next time I will definitely go on when I go live, I will definitely go on StreamYard and we'll have that on my live. We'll just have to navigate through the troubleshooting to have me be able to figure these things out. Analyze. Molly alone is an upper, but it is usually mixed with other drugs such as cocaine, heroin, fentanyl, which can cause speedballing. Upper plus downer, bad news, without a doubt. Thank you, Doug, for that information. Marianne, see who needs Tad and Chevy. Laughing out loud, says Marianne. Bridget, thank you, Chris, for the info. L. Groundsky, they do agree 100%. Make no mistake, everybody. Chris and I, we will be working together. As long as Chris wants to work together, we will be working together. Chris and I do make a very good team, without a doubt. April, Chris, thank you for all you do. Tarek, Shibby is such a nice guy, without a doubt. I like Shibby. Doug, oh my God, one is a bad enough, mixing all of together, without a doubt. I mean, you're asking for something bad to happen. Chris, I love DD, so I will do anything to help him and I build these channels. You got that right, Chris. Right back at you, my friend. Marianne, I didn't mean it in a bad way. I love them. It was a joke after yesterday. You're fine. Oh, I got you, Marianne, where Chris said Ted is fired and Shibby's on probation. I get you, Marianne. No worries. GHB is similar, says Doug. Had known on the modern roughie. It was used alloy by muscle men. It is a clear, tasteless liquid. In my opinion, GHB is more likely if drugs are present. Gamma hydroxy glutamate. Thank you so much, Doug. Carol, AJ, thank you, Chris. We love DD. Right back at you, AJ. Carol, thanks, Chris. Love you. L, I got the joke. Marianne says L. April, Doug, that's a drug cocktail that could be fatal for sure, without a doubt. Well said, April. Carol, I understand, Marianne. L, in case anyone hasn't subscribed to Chris, please subscribe to Chris. Great guy, great chat, great person. Definitely, if you subscribe to my channel, please subscribe to him. He's very, very good individual, and we will be working together for God only knows how long. To be honest, L, there's the YouTube for Chris's channel. Tarot, big boom, scared me. It's storming here. Oh God, I wish we had rain where we're at. Melly says disoriented. Yes, no doubt, Melly. April, please like and subscribe to Chris if you haven't. Him and Dee make an awesome team, without a doubt, April. So thankful you guys had encouraged me to get with literally with Chris. Doug, that's a drug cocktail. April, please like and subscribe. Tarek, speedballs have killed a lot of people, without a doubt, Tarek. Norma, yes, I like it when DD and Chris live stream together. Melly, Norma, Tarek, Annie, what states are you? Tarek, storms going, but that's Midwest right now. Norma, good morning, Melly. Good to see a friend. Annie, Tarek, yeah. KB, DD, do you have a smoke detector chirping? Not to my knowledge. I keep hearing around my house, and I think it might be coming from the thank you. No, I don't hear anything. I don't hear anything, but I'll keep my ears open. Thank you so much, Tarek. Or thank you, KB. Appreciate that. Tarek, Annie, well, maybe it's headed your way. I think it's going east. April, okay, not hearing, not hearing your way. I think it's going east. April, okay, not hearing it here. Bridget, it's so not here. I wish it was a rainy day. No doubt. Annie, Tarek, I hope so. Tarek, I will subscribe to Chris' channel. I have it up. Awesome, Tarek. Thank you. Thanks, Tarek. April, thank you, Tarek. Tarek, you welcome. Gronsky, KB, I hear the chirp as well. I don't hear no chirps, but then again, I may have bad ears. Here, I still say it was an overdose. I think that it very well could be, Marianne. I just don't know who would have been the one that initiated it. Was it Alina herself? Could it have been her husband? Could it have been someone else? I mean, and if there is something in her system, some foreign substance, it's going to be interesting to see how they pin that back to whoever. But stuff always comes out. You just got to be willing to look into it. Thank you, Terry. Terry, you welcome, Norma. Awesome, everybody. You guys are amazing. Chris, I think I will do that tonight at 5 p.m. I will go live. If you want to come in tonight, we'll cover something. I'll let you know, and I'll go on Streamyard tonight at 5 p.m. If you want to come in and send me whatever you want to, what you feel comfortable talking about, and we'll go ahead and run with it. Gronsky, KB, I hear the chirp as well. Okay, guys, I don't hear no chirp. Man, if you guys can hear that, oh lordy, I don't hear anything. But hey, that doesn't mean it's not happening. Maybe my ears are just that bad. KB, I hear the chirp as well, says Gronsky. Marianne, I say it was an overdose. Kind of leaning that way, Marianne. I just don't know who inflicted it, self or someone else. That's going to be the question. But yeah, I think that's because there's no marks on her. There's nothing there. Even if she was in a struggle with somebody, even if someone laid her down there, okay, let's just suppose someone laid her down there, okay? Let's suppose someone did this to her and laid her body there. There sure would be a struggle, right? There should be some type of resistance, you know. So to go ahead and think maybe that there's nothing there, it's just kind of odd that there's no marks. You know what I mean? Oh, Melly, thank you for stopping in and making time for us. I know you're busy. Thank you so much, Melly. Appreciate you, Melly. Good to have you, Melly. Chris McLaughlin, April, the argument someone mentioned, I forgot who has me curious now, right? No doubt about it, April. I mean, this is really some good information, everybody. Because now you're starting to piece two different entities, the husband and the wife, what they were going through, what they had done in the past. On one end, what she was doing and where she was trying to go. On the other end, what he was doing and where he was trying to go. It's just, it's so that's important because you got to have the basic foundation to understand what is happening. Otherwise, you're just, all over the place. And right now we have a ground base. We have a ground base to be able to navigate one way or the other. You got it, Chris. Today at 5, I'll have you in there, and we'll go ahead and like I said, everybody in the chat just know when we go on at 5, I'm gonna have Chris come in with me, but it's gonna be a trial and error because I've never done this before with having somebody on my channel. So it just you're just gonna have to deal with the unknowns. You know what I mean? So don't get discouraged if I'm having issues navigating through this or that because yeah, it's just I've never done it before. Having somebody else in here on my stream. I really think she was self medicating. It very well could be, L. I mean, it sounds like that to me. Doug, I offer Doug and Chris any services needed. Thank you so much, Doug. I appreciate you, my friend. Would love to be a contestant for you all. You know what, Chris? We you know what, Doug? We can bring you in too as well. No worries. Just have to figure out how this all works because I've never done this before. Absolutely. Any, I don't either. April, Doug becomes a mod for them. You have a great info, and I think it would be appreciated. You got it, no doubt about it. Well said, April. Tarek, maybe Alina, all odd. Carol, thanks, Doug. Chris, I think she could not handle the pressure of the situation anymore. That's a very good possibility, Chris. That's a very good possibility. I mean, that's what I think. I think that I just don't know if it was her or somebody else, and if she had decided to say, I'm done. Like, let's think about this for a second, everybody. Let's say Alina decided to say, I'm done with this marriage. All right. I'm done with all this. Kind of like the notes that she wrote on her Instagram. I'm done. I had enough. You have been nothing but a problem to me. Okay, let's just say that for a moment, that this is what's going on. Would there be some retaliation? Could there be some retaliation from the husband? Oh, I told you if you ever try leaving, I would do X, Y, and Z. And then when she's not looking, I mean, I'm not trying to plant no seed. I'm just trying to understand. I mean, I could see that, and you have to understand when I say these things, I'm saying these things playing out cases in my head as if I was in law enforcement still trying to navigate how could this happen. It's always what you do when you're in law enforcement. You're trying to think outside the box, and I don't want to give any interpretations of what I'm saying, but that's where I'm going in my head. I'm trying to pinpoint how this could work out, and is it very plausible? See, I don't say things that are not plausible. Okay, I don't say things that are not very highly possible. I try to stick to the higher end of possibility than just throwing it out there for shits and giggles, right? So I really don't know exactly, but it does make sense. Does he then get upset and say, you know what, I'll show her, and then, or does somebody else, for some odd reason, have a bone to pick with her? The guy that was arguing with her at the front, according to that one that I read to you guys from that individual, you know, arguing with some big guy with kind of heavy, but not necessarily fat, but just big arms, yada, yada, yada. Is that possible? I don't know. I really don't know. Um, it's just that's how my mind operates. I'm going back into the law enforcement mode, trying to think how could this fit. And there is a very, very good possibility that something like that could fit. I mean, you hear it all the time, right? You hear it all the time. People say, "Oh, if you leave, I'll do this to you," or if you leave me, I'll do this to you. Blah 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 blah. On both ends of the spectrum, right? She decided to leave. We don't know if she was staying with him or she was staying at a friend's house. She goes ahead and leaves. He looks at her like, "Hey, I'll just go ahead. I'm gonna." And he doesn't tell her, but he tells himself, "I'm just gonna go ahead and do this." She's used to this. She used to take this. I don't know if she did or not. I'm just saying. I could see someone saying, "Well, this person used to do this, so therefore I'll just slip this in there, and then that's the end of her." Or maybe I'll just do this to her, slip something to her, and watch her get all wigged out, not intentionally wanting to maybe unalive the person, but just wants the person to like feel like they need that person back, right? It's so many plausible things. That's why I hate suggesting anything, to be honest. I think she could not handle the pressure. That's a good point, Chris. I agree 100%. Says hell. Her Instagram post said a lot, in my opinion, without a doubt. L. Bridget, I think Bridget, where you go, Bridget? Gotta find you. Sorry, it's Skip. Doug became a mod for them. You have great info, and I think it would be appreciated. Bridget, I think she said down there herself, if someone was carrying her, surely they would have been seen. You would, yeah, you would think. No doubt about it. Well said, Bridget. Oleg, the home is only in the name, in his name says a lot about him. Interesting. I did not know that, Oleg. Interesting. Growski, I always hear a chirp when I listen to your channel and only your channel, so I just do not know. Maybe it is coming from my house, Growski. I do have uh, smoke detectors in every room. I have one in this room, but I don't know. I just don't hear it. But yeah, I have a hard time hearing, especially with these on. You know what I'm saying? But thank you so much, everybody. Appreciate that. Chico Stick, maybe she was self medicating to treat her anxiety and overdose and cause some heart. God, that's a very good point, Chico Stick. So many good points. Doug, oh yeah. Also, GHB typically will not show up in the tox screen since it has a high burn off rate, usually lasts 2 hours, unlike Molly, which is almost 10-hour burn off. Oh wow, that's interesting. Interesting. Norma, Dee, you are going to be just fine this evening. Thank you so much, Norma. Appreciate that. Tarek, Dee, maybe Elena overdose off. It's very possible, Tarek. I mean, that's a very good possibility. The faithful servant, good morning. Good morning, you, the faithful servant. Thank you so much for being here. Norma, good morning, faithful. Good to see you. L, faithful. April, I just can't think she did herself, but that's my opinion after getting all this info on her husband. Yeah, there's just so much there, everybody. There's so much information there that can, at least it puts things in perspective. At least, at least we're thinking now what could have been, what might have been, what probably would have been, right? We don't know, but it sure as hell we have a clearer picture on where our mind is going to be going more than likely. Well said, April. Well said. Marianne, I don't understand how there are no marks on her body. Me neither, Marianne. That's a very good point. I don't either. The faithful 1985, Carol, faithful AJ. Click that likes, everybody. Get those algorithms going. Hello, faithful, says Carol. AJ, in my opinion, the note she wrote on Facebook only tells me she was very hurt and clearly not over him. Coming from a woman, we know about these things. Hey, that I always said, if a woman would read those notes, that's who could be able to tell us exactly how they would be interpreting that, without a doubt. Well said, AJ. Faithful, hi, Carol, Marianne, hello, faithful servant, Chris, and everything I can find, she was still staying at home, but her friend said she was staying at her friend's house. That's what's confusing, Chris. That is exactly what's confusing because everything I see is that she's at her home as well. But then her friend says that she's at her friend's, and it's like, and it's supposed to be a friend that knows her for the last 10 years or so. So it's not like it's just somebody just talking, right? It's somebody that would know. I don't know. That's a very good point. And if she was staying at her friend's because she finally broke it off with him, is this a reason to retaliate? It's a good point. L, AJ, 100%, April, faithful, Marianne, Carol, exactly. Carol, exactly. 100% the faithful servant, April, Terry. It's definitely a bizarre case. Doug, drug dealer, big guy, or possibly DoorDash guy would explain the erratic behavior without a doubt, Doug. Well said, without a doubt. It's what I've been saying. Tarek, I wonder how much life insurance Alina had. There's a good point. Don't even know if she had any, but if she did, whose name was it under? That's a really good point. Never thought about that. Good job, Tarek. Thank you. The faithful servant. You're great, Chris. April, baffled, but the background of the husband makes me suspicious. And you can't ignore that. That's well said, April, because you can't ignore the background of this individual. There's a lot there, everybody. There's a lot of baggage there. And where there's smoke, there's fire. I'm telling you, I don't know what role, but it sure as hell seems like there's something there. Chris, thank you all. You very welcome, Chris. Thank you for being here too. April, and I don't trust the friend either, in my opinion. L, I will see everyone at 5. Yes, you will. Have an appointment with my son in a bit. Thanks for an awesome stream. Thank you, Abe. Thank you, L. Appreciate you. And thank you so much for being here. Have a good time with your son, the faithful servant. I'm really upset with the latest news. Like we lost more or a little info. Yeah. Terry, bye, L1. Have a good day. Carol, okay, L. Norma, faithful, a lot. of us are. Amen. Teresa, bye. The faithful. Yes, Norma, I'm frazzled. April, I'll see you soon. Love, says April. Norma, we are a beautiful blessing day, 1985. You soon again. See you soon again. You got it, Norma. Teresa, laughing out loud, need new glasses. Bye. Norma, faithful, my mind is blown at this point. I comprehend that. Have a blessed day. All right, everybody, let's go ahead and end this stream. We've been on for a couple hours, 2 hours and 20 some minutes. Appreciate everybody here. Thank you so much. Remember, we're going live at 5. Chris, get on at about, if you can start getting on at about 4 to make sure, and I'll start getting on at 4 to try to figure out how we can figure this out and navigate through it. I won't have all the nice bells and whistles that you have, but I'm sure I'll be able to navigate with your help. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Stay safe, the faithful. Besides myself, thanks, Dog and Chow, for all the interesting info. You got it, Paige, and theories. I appreciate you so much. I have no opinion so far. No problem, Paige. Thank you for being here. Oleg, her home address has her down that she has lived there in October of 2025. That she last lived there October 2025. Interesting. So there you go, Chris. That may be October, may be the last time she lived there. Interesting. Thank you so much, Oleg. Marianne, thank you, Dee. You got it, Marianne. Paige, the dog pounds, April, Dee, and Chris, Rod. Please like and subscribe to both. Thank you, everybody. AJ, bye, everyone. Norma, good morning. Tarek, have a good day, Dee, and everyone. You got it, Tarek. Paige, you got it. Marianne, see you later. Thank you for the being here. You got that. Deb, Norma, you, the faithful servant, thumbs up. Norma, good morning, Paige. Blessed to see you. Paige, Norma, Annie, see you all later. I hope I'll don't forget. You'll be good. Bridget, have a good day, everyone. You too, Bridge. Norma, thank you, Dee, in chat. Have a blessed day. See y'all later. Remember, everybody, we'll figure this out. We will figure it out because it's all common sense. Everything is common sense. Simplify, everybody. God bless everybody.